when that you came up with that list of, yes, I'm doing this, no, I'm doing that, what are on those lists? And how can people think through for themselves their own yes and no lists?
I'll give you a very concrete example. I had a very high-level person in Austin invite me to a cocktail party.
This is a common occurrence for David Perell.
I said no. And the reason is I don't do cocktail parties. I don't do group dinners that are more than 6 people. I will skip out on a lot of big group events that would be really exciting that I just no longer do. And I don't have to think about being enamored by the glitz and the glam of the opportunity. I don't have to be... Another thing I don't go to conferences. None. I don't go to conferences unless one of my tightest buddies is running that conference, in which case I go to every single one. I don't go to weddings unless it's in Austin or it's one of the people that I really care about, in which case I ball out, right? And it's just, I was getting so distracted that I wasn't present at the things that I was going to. I wasn't doing the work that I'm on this planet to be doing. I wasn't being the friend or the family member that I was capable of being. And by having a firmer line, which I need, I'm in no way giving a panacea advice for everybody. This is what works for me with my circumstances, my psychology, and my very particular set of strengths and weaknesses at this point in my life right now. So with that as a caveat, having these clear edges helped me because I get very excited and I end up making decisions that I end up regretting later on.
Yeah, I think what it sounds like one of the things that you've had trouble with as you've grown rapidly is getting seduced by all the options that are in front of you.
You know the story of the girl in the red dress in the Matrix?
Yes, but you can tell
walking, sees the girl in the red dress. And who is it who says, "What were you looking at? Did you hear what I said?" And turns around and someone with a gun right there. Bang. And I got this from Alex Ramosi, but it's so good. So much of life is that girl in the red dress. Enticing, beautiful, seducing, attracts you, and then the gun is right there behind you. But the big lesson that I got from Hormozy is that you constantly need to be relearning what the girl in the red dress looks like, who she is, because as you get bigger and bigger, she becomes more and more seductive.
Yeah.
And I have fallen into red dress traps over and over again in the last few years, and I regret my lack of focus. It has set me back quite a bit. I've burned hundreds of thousands of dollars because of it. And I've had relationships that have been very deeply hurt because of my wandering eye with opportunities. And I think about that a lot. So yes, I do need very firm boundaries and set of rules. I think of rules all the time.
Well, this points to why you got so excited when you could give the cultural tutor specific advice of just double down on writing a thread every single day. Go, go, go. Because you're like, I know the mistake that I made, and I know the mistake that I wish I didn't make, and it was more focus in that part of my life. And because of that, he's gone further, faster.
Totally.
So what other things should people be thinking about? A lot of people listening to this right now either have aspirations to grow massive audiences or they have them right now. So what are some things that they should be thinking about as they grow in terms of red dresses?
Well, one of the things that I like to ask is, how do I craft the path that only I can craft? Be the person I can only be. Carve the path that only I can carve. Be the person that only I can be. Do the things that only I can do, and write the essay that only I can write. I come back to that all the time. And there's a few things there. There's the seeds of distinction action and knowing that it's going to take time for you to get there. It's really easy to have distinction and differentiation. I mean, look at modern art. Modern art is atrocious because it's only going for those sorts of things. I mean, Duchamp puts a urinal in an art museum in 1913, and people are like, wow, this is crazy that there's a urinal. And honestly, it's a genius move. Duchamp is a smart guy. If you watch interviews with him, there's a great documentary by Roger Scruton called Why Beauty Matters. Very foundational to my worldview. And there's some interviews with Duchamp, and he's brilliant in terms of how he thought about that. But then you now have bananas that are plastered and duct taped to the walls. You have people who defecate in museums and they call it art. And what has happened is art has gone from a pursuit of mastery and quality into shock. And shock comes through, oh my goodness, I've never seen this before. You'll never believe what happened. And so what I come back to is the distinctiveness is important, but it has to be paired with quality. And distinction and quality, that's what moves the world. That is the stuff that people look at and they say, my goodness. And that's the path that I try to be on. Distinction isn't enough. Quality doesn't have enough of the self-expression, the sense of individuality. And then also things that aren't distinct are often trapped in the myopia of what Rene Girard called mimesis, where you're just imitating other people, looking around, copying. And Girard's ideas have been very impactful for me because I know how much of my life I spent in a very imitative path. In San Francisco, go to a good middle school so you can get into a good high school, go to a good high school so that you can go to a good college so you can get a good job, get a good job so you can go to a good graduate school so that then you can eventually be a partner at a law firm or something, as if that's the pinnacle of life. And there's a lot more to life than that path.
Your quote here is, risk-averse parents and educators push children down conventional paths. Parents enroll their kids in the same schools and the same extracurriculars to help them get into the same college so that they can work for the same corporations. In 2007, more than half of Harvard graduates went to work in investment banking or management consulting. It's like we're living in an imitative.
It's a tongue twister.
We're living in this world.
She sells seashells by the seashore.
We're living in this world that's copying each other all the time.
Yeah.
And the distinctiveness piece is really important. How can people be more distinctive?
I mean, that is work. And you need great people around you. And being tapped into the tenor of your heart and knowing what those frequencies sound like, it is a lot of work. It's something I work on every single day. I mean, I sit down and like right now, I've spent 3 months on this. What is my first core value? And it's the pursuit of excellence. So first it took me a month and a half of writing and coaching to realize that excellence wasn't my value, it was the pursuit of excellence. So that's it. The second order effects of that are huge, okay? Then, what does the pursuit of excellence mean? Write it all out. Then, how do I biblically justify the pursuit of excellence? Go through, find all the verses and the stories that justify that idea. And now, my homework for these 2 weeks is, what do I need to do every single day? What do I do every single day that is aligned and in pursuit of excellence with that first core value? So that's 3 hours of work, you write it out, or 3 months work, you write it all out. And then I'm doing that for my top 5 core values. So I'm going to do it again and again and again and again. I'll have the 5. And then I have that clarity of what am I going for. And the thing is, if you think of the American conception of success, you think of someone who's retired, sitting on a beach in Mexico, sipping a pina colada like they're in a Corona commercial or something. And what is implicit in that? Stasis, doing nothing, I've made it, whatever. Sort of lack of vision, belly's getting a little fatter. First you have a bowling ball, then you got something bigger in there, and you're just getting more and more overweight. and maybe you're golfing to sort of stay in shape. And I just take issue with that telos of what a human life can be. I'm much more excited about what is the thing that is you, and how do you live that every day in a place of action, in a place of motion, being aligned with your core values, working towards your mission, embodying your values, all those sorts of things. And so the problem is that people don't know what that thing is. It's hard to find. But then if you find what those things are and you define them for yourself, then you can just constantly live in your values, striving towards a clear set of highest ideals that you've defined for yourself.
If you enjoyed this clip, watch the full episode right over here, and don't forget to subscribe.